I need to get punished for not uploading videos on time. Maybe this will motivate me a little bit more. But there was so much content to choose for the video today. There was so much. Like, the British elections is like a train wreck. I'm trying to look away, but it's just, you keep, you can't focus on anything else. I have probably months of content to talk about the UK elections, but I'll try to keep it short, because I know there's people from other places that want me to talk about other funny news. So, it seems that the winning of Boris, that's such a Russian name, isn't it? Boris agrees. Yeah, but his winning might have shifted the overton window. If you're not familiar with the term, it's what's acceptable to talk about in public discourse. And it seems that finally British people are tackling those really difficult subjects.
I will say that if I was a female fighter jet pilot.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? You know, you have Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom founder. It's like, if I was a female jet fighter pilot, and everyone is like, okay, yeah, this seems legit.
I will say that if I was a female fighter jet pilot,
Okay.
I would expect someone to say, don't wear a burqa.
What are you talking about, man?
Oh my god, that reaction! It's as if he just said, yeah, I sacrificed a little kitten to Satan the other day. I put some pineapple on pizza. What are you talking about, man? Well, seriously, just to understand the terminology here. A burqa is the full-faced veil that you only find in some of the most conservative version of Islam in Britain. While the thing where some Muslim women just used to cover up their head, that is called a hijab. And it's important to point out that even the sister of Osiris, Isis, is against women wearing the burqa. That's how conservative you need to become in order to be outraged when hearing someone say, well, you know, if we put a woman in a jet fighter plane, maybe she should wear a burqa. I mean, for the love of God, Mortal Kombat champion Sonic Fox doesn't play with his fursuit on. Like, you need peripheral vision when things are happening really fast in front of you. One would think. But, you know, who am I to disagree? I mean, I guess the Muslim scholar of Britain on Channel 5 feels that this is a great blasphemy, and even mentioning the concept, the idea, is enough to offend him. Look, let's watch his offense.
Sorry, say that
I
again.
said if I was a
Why?
female fighter jet pilot.
Why? I'm scared.
Fighter jet pilot. There have to be circumstances where
Hang
Yeah,
on.
we'd expect them to be qualified. You'd expect them to be qualified. That's the only thing that matters.
Ah, yes, now it's about the people that are qualified for the job. I'll tell you what the experts at Channel 5 will do if you start a business and you only hire qualified people and you start becoming successful. They will be like, may I see the list of people you have hired? So it's like, oh, okay, here it is, right? There are not enough women here. There are not enough black people. There are not enough Asians. Where are the gays? Where are the lesbians? What is this fascismus, racismus? Of course, I'm joking. In reality, most likely they will look at the military and say, why aren't there enough women here? And it's like, well, you wanted people who are qualified for the job. Then lower the qualifications. Or the barely British company puts out an ad saying, yeah, we're not going to hire white people. Where is qualification there? Where is it? Like, if you have the qualification, you're not going to get the job. They will look at your skin color. What is this? What is this color? This color, filth, filthy. Give me something pure. Give me the purity of melanin. This is what we hire nowadays. Yes. But my point here is that the left, at least the one in Britain, seems to be incredibly hypocritical. And they use liberal principles as a Trojan horse. Like, liberal ideology stands for liberty, freedom. And in order to make sure that people are free, you shouldn't discriminate against them. Kind of makes sense, right? So when you hire based on merit. You do hire based on skill. And the far left nowadays are all in favor of affirmative action or having quotas. They don't see human beings anymore. They see percentages on a piece of paper. How many black? How many lesbians? How many gay? How many queer? You know, how many transgender? That's literally what they think about. And when you call them out on it, they immediately backtrack and go like, oh no, we should hire based on skill. It is just such a big hypocrisy. And by the way, I'm not against affirmative action, but I think affirmative action should go against the poor, regardless of their skin color or whatnot. Like, if you're a person that manages to fall under a certain background, then yeah, sure. Maybe you should have like a space at a university. Like, I have a colleague of mine who was a great university student, was studying really hard. And unfortunately, by the time he was in the third year of university, both of his parents died in a car crash. So now the guy is living with only the last surviving relative of his family, one grandmother, who didn't have the money to pay for his university. So the state, right, looks at his situation and goes like, yeah, okay, we're going to allow this person to keep studying. And now he is a nephrologist and he's winning money, he's moving out of his grandma's house, and you know, it's a happy story. So I'm not against like helping the poor. I'm not against it. Like, I had colleagues that came from very impoverished households, but they struggled so hard to learn, and they managed to get only A+ constantly, to the point where even sons of doctors wouldn't manage to compete with the grades that these people were getting. So I get it. I really get it. I think it would be stupid for the government not to nourish these people who come from impoverished situations, but they're studying really well, and they have the grades to back it up and to prove that they're actually studying well. Not to give them a leg up and help them, right? Because then they become productive members of the community and pay their taxes. But the left doesn't think like that. The left just looks at skin color. So it is really hypocritical of them to now all of a sudden backtrack and say, oh, no, we're only for the people who can do the job. You know, we're only for the qualified people. Like, no, you're not, all right? You keep using liberalism as a Trojan horse for your socialist bullshit.
And it's language like that.
Have you ever flown
and
a
that's
plane?
disgraceful.
Rob Rinder,
It's language
have
like
you
that
ever
that's
flown a plane?
Don't be so absurd. I've got no transferable skills whatsoever. I'm
Well,
a
there you
lawyer.
go.
But how dare you? How dare you sit there and use that language? That is disgraceful. And it doesn't require me, it shouldn't require Nish to have to defend that. Whether I'm a person of the left or the right, you don't sit there and use the platform that you've been gifted.
Man, I love that guy. He's like Goku from Dragon Ball, like powering up the Genki Dama, you know, seeping out from the outrage of Muslim women everywhere. It's like, Muslim women, give me your energy. And all of Muslim women like, here, take it, white man, take it. And, you know, like all of a sudden he becomes virtuous. He is filled with virtues and goes like, how dare you? How dare you? I'm not going to talk your point. We're not going to have a conversation about it. I'm just going to wiggle my finger with the outrage of Muslim women everywhere. What do you think they would do if I wasn't here to speak on their behalf? I am the speaker. You know, it's actually quite funny because the reason they use the moral outrage is because they really can't rationalize or explain why it would even be wrong to tell a person how to dress. The reason is that we have freedom of expression. Now, in the United Kingdom, there has been major controversy over women who wear shirts with the definition what a woman is, because that's offensive for transgender, so they have to remove the shirt. So basically, you know, like, freedom of expression isn't a big concept that people are popular with. The reason that you can argue that some people shouldn't wear whatever they want is in certain professions. Like, if you want to be a football player, you have to wear a uniform. If you want to become a soldier, you have to shave your hair. But apparently, you can't talk about these things anymore. And you know what's really funny? Like, people from Britain are really outraged, even like sparking this conversation. But meanwhile, in France, like, we're talking about another Western nation, which I understand is now far more enlightened than the United Kingdom because they voted correctly and they're still in the European Union, but they ban the use of the burqa in public. So I guess what Boris is doing is he's basically preaching French legislation, and other English people are like, how dare you? How dare you? We became nationalists now. Wow, that is boomer tier. That is the 80s right there. But I tell you what, Twitteratis and woke people everywhere. Good luck fighting her on Twitter and getting her fired. You can't do that. She's got holy protection from your outrage. By the way, if I wear a burqa and I violate the TOS, would they be able to ban me off Twitter? Think about it. And would they be able to complain because men shouldn't wear burqas? But I would be the first that would fight against gender stereotyping. Oh my god, I need to think on this. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel. Please share this video if you found it amusing, because it's going to have difficulties being shared by the search algorithm due to the nature of the content that I'm talking about. And if you really like my channel, I mean you super like my channel, then please contribute. I have a subscribe star or a PayPal, and Christmas is coming, and I would definitely appreciate that little extra dollar so I can buy some presents for my friends and folks. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.